Welcome to the family with.
Gil fan.
And Andy Brant Bernard.
Why is it Gill fanned all of a sudden?
Well, because we were talking before we started here about Rod Carew.
Yes.
And of course, Rod Carew, it was sort of like a chant that I think maybe inspired him every day. So when I was covering the Twins every day, Rod Carew would walk up to me and say, Gil fans, I'm going to kill you.
Gill fans.
It's the closest he could come. But I was used to that. In high school, a lot of people called me Gil fans too. And I have no idea why people would do that.
Gill fanned. I mean, it's pretty easy. It's spelled exactly the way it's pronounced.
Yeah, but what is this thing about adding an S, But people like to add
fans.
S's to names. I don't know.
Well, I've heard Tom Brainerd before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was Tom Brainerd in certain places. It was like, no, it's not Brainerd. But you're close enough, I guess. It's
Probably
all going to
came
work out.
from the days when you were, doing radio in Brainerd.
I don't think I ever worked. Did I ever work in Brainerd? I might have done a couple of days in Brainerd. I worked just about it. I had to have worked in Brainerd at some point.
Now, in Brainerd, I think there might be 2 disc jockeys.
You're probably,
generous.
well, these days, yes.
Yeah.
Probably maybe 0 disc jockeys.
Could be
Today,
zero.
I would say that's 2 is generous. I don't think I've ever been to Brainerd.
Oh,
It's a good town. It's a nice town.
yeah,
It's far
kinda
away
nice.
town is what it is.
You just don't want to go as far as Nisswa. That's when you run into trouble.
Yes.
Isn't that where all the dough is up there, though, in Nisswa?
There is some dough there, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Let's look at a map because I have no idea where Brainerd actually is.
Straight, right in the center of the state, isn't it?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
yeah, okay. It's like due north of St. Cloud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, right there. So it'll all work out in the end. So what's the latest in the news? I haven't looked at the news much so far this morning. Is there any good news out there?
Well, yeah, we have 48 hours before we go into the deep Arctic again.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
People are outside washing their cars, getting ready for this well, probably another month of sub-normal temperatures.
So I'm going to stir the Gill fans pot here again. Looks like the Israel-Hamas agreement is defunct. It's not going to happen.
It's not.
Gee, you don't think that Netanyahu found a way to back out, do you?
That's what you think it's all about?
Yeah, well, right now it is.
Well, it is. You're absolutely. Did you think for 1 minute, Mr. Gelfand, that was going to hold up?
No.
I didn't either.
I mean,
I didn't
they've been fighting for 1,000 years. So
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. And what was the original fight about? Did you? Because I don't even know what started this whole thing. Just territory, I'm assuming.
yeah, per territory. Yeah, I think that's definitely the key to it all. Yeah.
I know. It just really. I made a decision overnight. I was just kind of laying around, and things are going well. I got a great family. I adore my wife and kids and grandkids, and matter of fact, I'm coming to town, Andy, on the 13th. I think is that when it is?
Valentine's Day week, right?
I believe so. Yeah. So I'll be in town. Looking
Whenever
forward to
that
seeing
is.
you. That'll be good. But I've decided. I just went on X. I don't really go on Facebook too much. I should go on there probably more. But X has gotten so incredibly negative. It's very difficult to get on there. So I decided I'm going to be very pleasant every time I'm on social media. I don't care if it's Facebook, X, what. I will not get involved in any of this, that, or the other. I love my family and love my job. Everything is good. I've had enough of all this negative. Why are people so incredibly negative right now?
My kids did me a great favor about 10 years ago. Basically, what they said was, you cannot go on Twitter.
No, you have never been able to. Twitter's been
Really, always?
really toxic place since its inception.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I have never. No, there's a reason I've never had a Twitter account, and I never will. It's because of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, well-
you think Facebook is bad, that sort of thing? No.
No.
Twitter has always been 100 times worse.
Yeah, because with Facebook, I can have a Facebook page and keep everything pretty civil. Very few people try to devolve into the toxic area of
Yeah, right.
of X. But so that is a little different. Now, of course, the other thing about Facebook is nobody reads it anymore. Nobody goes.
That's
on
the
it.
whole. Yeah, that's the problem.
That is the problem. People want I guess they want the negativity that X brings them.
Who was it on the KQ morning show when you were on there with me that said in a meeting, and I quote, "Why all the negativity?"
Oh, it did had to be Steiny, didn't it?
Was it sign? Why all the negative? I can't even say it the way he said it.
I know I can't
Negativity?
either.
Negativity. Yeah, instead of negativity, he said negativity. But I'm like, what? So, see, I didn't know that. Yeah, Facebook, I don't, I guess nobody goes on that anymore. And then you got X, which is just really hateful and horrible.
Mhm.
Is there anywhere to connect with people?
No.
People are going over to
No.
they're calling it Red Note because they don't want to say the real name of the thing.
What is it?
So Red Note is apparently people are going there because TikTok TikTok is TikTok getting banned in America? Is that like
Yes.
actually a thing?
Well, we'll see. There still are some judicial areas that they
Right.
have to. Yeah.
But
Oh, is that
so
right?
everyone is apparently flooding over to this Chinese version, which is they call Red Note.
Well, that's hilarious because the whole thing about TikTok being banned is because
Yep.
of China.
I know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's trying to pushing the business toward themselves by doing this.
I wonder how much of it is, astroturfed. But the
Yeah.
funniest thing about Red Note is that it's not actually called the Red Note.
Oh, it's not?
The real name in Chinese is Xiao Hong Shu, which means Little Red Book. So it's a direct allegory to Chairman Mao, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Good point.
They had to rebrand it over here because, the Little Red Book wasn't as well received.
Yeah, I don't really understand why people get so far over. It was really funny. What finally pushed me to say, look, I'm not going to post anything negative ever. I'm not going to get pissed off at anybody. All right. A few days ago, a guy took a shot at me on X. And so I did a little research into it because, by the way, you can mute people. You don't, because if you get rid of them, you just bounce them. They know you got rid of them. But if you mute them, they have no idea you muted them. Correct?
Right.
So, yeah. So you don't want to just get rid of somebody. Just mute them and they'll never know you muted them, which I think is a good thing. But the thing that I couldn't believe is this guy went after me pretty hard about, I forced people out at the queue and I was treated people horribly at the queue. And do you ever remember me forcing anybody out at the queue, Mike?
Well, there was that period where you used to whip me every day.
Yes, that's exactly right. I
still
remember
got this
that now.
part.
That was semi-consensual, though.
That's why he's still here. Is that what you're saying? Something
No,
like that.
no, I don't think you did. I think that was management.
It was management. Look, there were some people that kept pushing and pushing and pushing to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I just, I didn't, I was like, no, this show's the highest rated show in America. We're not going to change the show.
Well, not going
But
to
they
change
did
it.
anyway.
Not going to change it, but at the same time, any successful show, relationship, anything, it does have to be pruned occasionally.
It does. There's no question about that. But this guy went after me for it. You attacked people and he ruined people's lives and blah, blah, blah. So I did a little research into this guy. I don't even remember his name. It doesn't matter. You know what the guy does for a living?
Let's see. I suspect he's in radio.
No, I thought he would be too. He's a Catholic minister, which is not the same thing as a priest.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what is the difference?
Yeah, it's not the same thing as a priest. It's like the underling priest, I guess, is what
Ministers aren't ordained, I believe.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, ministers can be lay people.
Yeah, this guy's a lay person. So, yes, you're right. The minister, he's a
That's
Catholic
interesting.
minister.
Because priests can lay people too, as it turns out.
Well, that's a whole different kettle of
Yeah.
fish. It's men and women and, the whole deal.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't believe this guy is supposed to be teaching people to love one another and accept one another. He was just tearing the piss out of me. He's like, you really don't know what you're doing, do you here, pal? That's not what you're supposed to be doing with your college degree.
College degree.
Don't you have to get a college degree to be involved in that? I don't see. I don't even know that stuff.
So.
I don't know either. It's just, what are you going to do? But I literally, I decided I've had enough. And if I post on either one of them, it's only going to be positive. I will not post anything negative again. I don't care how negative you want to get. I have a wonderful life. I adore my friends, my family, the whole deal. I'm just not getting involved in it.
You know who muted me lately?
Who?
Who's been muting me for 2 months? CenturyLink.
Why?
Well, see, CenturyLink, I think basically has the most, tactically at least, has the monopoly on landlines.
Oh, sure.
And there are
Okay.
those of us who like a landline for various reasons, right? So the
Right.
landline, the Century landlines, pretty much all just went out of order. I think this might be the 2-month anniversary. Either that's a television commercial or that's my cell phone.
I think that would be your cell
My
phone.
cell phone hasn't rung in like 6 years.
There you
Although
go.
it is ringing more now because my landline doesn't work anymore thanks to CenturyLink.
Oh, there you go.
So CenturyLink blamed it on copper thieves, right?
Oh, okay. So they're just stealing all the wires.
That's what they said. Now they could replace. I mean, I'm no expert on this, but I think they could replace the copper with there are various ways to go.
Right.
That would be in the long run much cheaper, but they've never done it. So, but here's the thing that I think is very clever of them. So, for the last 2 months, the landline has been dead. And my landline will be dead forever because obviously I have nothing to do with it again ever.
Right.
But they're still charging me.
Oh, God.
So right now they owe me about $400.
Are you going to be able to get it back without hiring an attorney for $1,000 to get your $400 back?
Well, here's the thing: you can't talk to. Of course, if anybody who knows anything about CenturyLink knows they will not let you talk to a human being.
No.
It's out of the question.
Correct.
However, it's very easy to talk to a human being at the Public Utilities Commission.
Mm-hmm.
So I have talked to the people there, and I think that they're gonna probably settle this thing. I think CenturyLink. I can't imagine anyone will continue to pay them anymore. But who knows? Because it's been 2 months and there's no sign that the landline's ever coming back anyway. But the thing is,
Right.
CenturyLink knows that they're screwing me. They know they're charging me for something that they didn't provide. But I guess they must figure they can get away with it.
Yes. And I probably could answer my own question here, but has the world, the United States in particular, always been such money grubbing puke? God, the money grubbing is just disgusting.
Oh well, yeah, it gets worse all the time.
So it is worse than it's ever been. That's what it appears to be to me, anyway.
Well, I think so.
God, everybody just hates everybody and will go out of their way to try to harm you, which is the weird deal.
The other thing is about the same day that I attempted to tell CenturyLink that maybe they should go do something to themselves, but I couldn't reach anyone. About the same day, I waited for an hour and a half for well, this person was an optometrist, which I kind of need to, get things measured every few months.
Sure.
I waited an hour and a half and no sign. And so I've never done this before in my life. I just walked out.
Really?
I don't know what you.
Well, after an hour and a half, you're clearly not on the schedule, or something horrible has happened. So
and no one
you're
has,
not going to get in.
And no one has bothered to tell me what's going on. Eventually, I talked to a very nice person at the front desk who said, "Well, she said, well, it looks like I had like an 11:20 appointment." And she said, "Well, it looks like she's with her 10:20 appointment now." And she tried to get a hold of them to see if they were going to be doing anything with me that day, but they wouldn't even answer that. So, so I just walked out. But I had a nice talk, and then someone else came up to me. They overheard this and said something like they were very upset with that I was leaving, and I said, "Yeah, I'm leaving, and I'll probably wind up calling Medicare to make sure that she's not charging them for not seeing me."
Oh, I like that. Yep, good move.
Because I that's fraud as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it is fraud, 100%.
Overcoding, that's Medicare fraud.
Yeah, and we know that can be very expensive, not just for the people who commit fraud, but for all the rest of us. Because we're paying for that fraud.
I will tell you, there's a prime example of what I'm talking about, why I've moved my life toward much more positive things and away from all these people on social media. I still go on social media, but only a very positive way. But who has a better life than sitting here talking on the show? You look up and there's my dog staring at me going, hey, can I come in?
Jude, are you
Look
crappy?
at Jude. Jude's peeking in the
Like,
window.
can I come in?
That tail is wagging.
I want to come in. Why can't I come in? I don't know. Are we ever going to get to a situation, because the world population is getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the second? Can we ever get better with this antisocial crap they're going through now that everyone hates everybody else? Is it ever going to get better?
How would it?
Yeah, it's a good question. How would it? There's just too much involved in all the rest of it. I still don't understand why people. Well, somebody asked me this morning, because I had posted something about, all these big Hollywood big shots now are going to leave if this guy gets inaugurated. And oh my God, it's all BS. There's no question about that. I mean, so far it's been Liam Neeson and Oprah Winfrey and there's been several of them. They said the inauguration day will be my last day in America. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not doing. Every time, I don't care if it's Biden gets elected or Trump gets elected or Abraham Lincoln gets elected, I'm leaving the country and I'm never coming back. That's a lie.
Well,
It
Stop
happens
posting.
every time.
Now, wait a minute.
Every
Abraham
time.
Lincoln, the country left us.
Yes, that's right. That's very.
So
Yeah, we
maybe
didn't have to leave.
they got there.
But
Yeah,
I
no,
just.
it's you're right. And what always happens is they're always going to Canada, right?
Yes,
But
exactly.
Canada doesn't want us.
No. No, they do not. Greenland, how about that? Can you go to Greenland? Because we're trying to appropriate that.
Yeah, that might be part of America.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, it's. I think the 58,000 people there are not real happy about that.
Is that all there are?
58,000
Oh, yeah.
people.
And it's not the easiest place to live.
Wow, yeah, you're right.
Wasn't it cold like 10 months of the year?
Yeah.
Or is it 12 months of the year?
Well,
Let's
it depends
see
whether
here.
you're comparing it to us or to some
Well, that's true.
place where people have a sane.
Oh, yeah,
climate.
that's the thing. Minnesotans have a very different definition of cold than most of the world.
Yeah, well, that's true. No question about it. But yeah, I just, I don't know. I try to watch the news at night, but I just can't do it. I just don't watch the national news because basically you got a couple of choices. You either got the far right or the far left. There's
That's-
nobody in the center.
It's been all fire lately.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
But that's even that, you've got people on one side saying, it's the woke.
yeah.
And the other side is saying, it could be global warming. And I tend to be on that side. But there are various factors involved.
But it's not only the global warming part, it's everything. You're
Well, they're
doing
not- they're not
everything
there
wrong.
Either, of course.
I don't know. It's the whole situation. Well, I tell you what, if they're concerned about either one of these things, then stop doing it.
No,
Right.
the 100-mile-an-hour winds are probably a little hard to do much with
Where are their 100-mile-an-hour winds?
in California.
I thought they were 27 miles an hour.
No, that's really what the big part of it. I mean, as much as the heat and the drought,
Mm-hmm.
the thing that really kind of eventually lit the fire was the fact that there were winds of 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
See, that's
Doesn't
not what
help.
I heard because I saw on social media that it was God paying America back.
Right, of course.
That's what it was.
Well, maybe he made the wind. You don't know.
That's right. It's
Maybe
God's
he made
wind.
the win. Exactly.
He can do
But
what-
it happens
do what he wants with
constantly. How many centuries has it been that California catches fire every year?
Oh yeah, but not like this. This is a
It's-
pretty big deal.
It's a huge deal. There's no question about that. But I just,
Plus, our favorite movie stars are involved.
So it matters
Oh.
now.
So now it's real.
Mhm.
The fact that they live in a phony world makes it real.
who's my favorite movie star? Because I can't think of any. Marlon Brando's dead, so I got
Yes.
nobody.
He's been dead for a while, I believe.
Been dead for a long time now. It's Elizabeth Taylor and Marlon Brando. I got nobody else coming. There's some good actors out there, but most of them are not very good anymore. Just a lot of ass kissing to make money.
Well, yeah, that's what sells.
Yeah, it's what sells. There's no
the
question about it.
people who are making the most money. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them are just banking on maybe the eighth permutation of the same movie.
Right. Well, let me run some by and see if this makes sense to you guys. About, I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that. Maybe it's longer now. I don't know. But one of the local radio stations in LA flew Dave Hamilton and me out there because they wanted to hire Dave and me to come out there. I'd do the mornings, he'd be the program director, and blah, blah, blah. I spent 2 days in Los Angeles and said, I have no interest in living here.
Yeah.
None. I loved visiting. I love to visit LA. Well, not now, we're obviously right. But I would never, ever want to live. You know what happened to me when I was out there? Because I was still doing voiceover, so it had to be at least 20 years ago, thinking about that. Because they managed to destroy that business for me by lying in the newspapers. But, other than that. But it's a situation where I was going to do a lot of voiceover and do a morning show and making tons of money, and oh my God. The money didn't even matter. I was like, I don't want to live here. It's beautiful, but I didn't like the people. The people are just all about, and I tell you what really kicked it off was when I went and visited SAG and after the office out there, and was already hearing other voiceover guys bitching about the fact that I wasn't from there and therefore I shouldn't be hired to do voiceover.
Well, nobody's from there.
No, and that's the point. Nobody's from there, but it's okay for you to do voiceover, but not me.
It's just, it's all about that negativity.
Negativity, that's exactly right. I can't even say negativity. I can't even say that word without thinking about it.
It's like negative turbidity.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, instead of going to Los Angeles, we moved to New York, loved New York City, had a magnificent time. You're going to find a pretty good restaurant in New York City.
Oh, yeah. Well, Chicago's the same way. You've
Love
got all these
Chicago.
cultures, and no, they don't get into wars with each other.
Right.
That's the thing about Chicago. People appreciate the differences, and there too. I mean, it doesn't compare to New York, but a lot of great restaurants.
Well, I tell you what, the whole world now, the restaurants are getting, don't you think everywhere the restaurants are getting better and better and better?
It seems that way because
Yeah, it does.
more and more you're seeing, these 5-star restaurant awards going to, like Delicatessen in Fargo was one of them recently.
Ooh, I like it.
I never
A lot
heard
of Jews living in Fargo.
not too many, but they're being pushed out of everywhere. So eventually they're probably going to wind up in Fargo.
Yeah, so what's that all about? We're pushing Jews out again now. What is it? So I thought it was to like 2025, not 1825.
Well, the fact of the matter is the Jewish population is growing pretty rapidly, and it and the people who are growing it are tend to be the Orthodoxy folks, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So inherently, they create, if they're not already there, they create their own diasporas.
I just want to know when I can go back into Plitman's Deli on Plymouth Avenue and have a sandwich. It's going to be a while.
I'd even settle for the Lincoln Dell.
Oh, I love the Lincoln. Why didn't he sell that off? Why did he close it, Danny Berenberg?
Well, I think part of it was it was basically just about the only life he'd known. He grew up.
Right.
He's working for his dad, and he and his dad, have kind of a caustic relationship at times.
Right.
And finally, it's his restaurant, and I think he was just exhausted by then. And then he gets an offer, that it's that he can't refuse. Mm-hmm. Thanks to those bastards at Walzer. And
that's right where it was.
I just blame them.
That's where it was. Yeah.
But I mean, I think he did the sensible thing, and so I don't blame Danny for that. He's a good guy.
No, I don't blame. I love Danny. He's a great guy.
But it was kind of a blow. Now we got Cecil's, of course, and like the Crossroads, but it's not the Lincoln Dell. And Cecil's is still Cecil's, so it's still this this kind of grungy, rundown little hole in the wall, which with a menu that has like 400 offerings, and it's great.
Andy, do you remember the Lincoln Dell, or was it already gone? No, you don't remember it at all.
I don't think I ever went there.
You would have loved the Lincoln Dell, Andy. That was right in your wheelhouse. I mean, first of all, their matzo ball soup is the best I've ever had, ever. I don't care, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, wherever you want to talk about. Their matzo ball soup was phenomenal.
Let's see. Lincoln Dell closed 2000. So I might have gone.
I think we were there that day.
I would have
weren't
been
we?
young.
Weren't
We
we
were
there
there
the
that
last
day.
day?
June
think so.
2000.
Yeah.
That's when it was, June of 2000. We're coming up on 25 years ago. My God. And I still get a Christmas card from a nice Jewish
Yep.
boy named Danny Berenberg every year.
Out in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, I do too.
No question about it. So, I don't know. We're in one of those situations. So as far as that's concerned, I like the two delis you mentioned. They do a nice job. I really like them both. Well, actually, the Celebrity Deli was just sold off, wasn't it? Didn't he sell it?
The what?
I say-
Celebrity Deli?
What the hell am I talking about? Did I say celebrity?
Yes, you did.
I'm getting too worked up about.
Oh, I know
this.
you're thinking about the
Crossroads.
Yeah.
Crossroads.
Yeah, they
They
did.
sold the Crossroads. I
Yeah,
heard.
they're under new management. The thing's pretty much the same, but yeah,
Pretty good.
I don't know. I had a tuna sandwich. People, of course, my Jewish friends especially, they hector me for ordering a tuna sandwich at a delicatessen.
I suppose they do.
If you don't have pastrami or corned beef, there's something wrong with you. But they say everything's the same. But I had a tuna sandwich there the other day, and it was much better than it was before.
Really?
Oh, there
Yeah,
you
so
go.
some things are better. The thing that's saddest for me is that there's only one restaurant in the Twin Cities where I can even tolerate the potato salad.
What is it?
Otherwise?
It's too much mayonnaise.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you 100% on that. I
But
hate that.
it's Cecil's.
Cecil's. Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
potato salad.
No,
But
I
you know,
agree with
the
you.
the poor guy who runs the place. I mean, it's like he does everything there now, and that's impossible. At the lunch hour, can you imagine one person doing everything?
Yeah. Think about that.
It's a little crowded, but that's he's like all over the place. And he one of the great things he did was because it was really hard to find employees, especially ones who spoke English. So he got to speak Spanish fluently.
Yep. I don't know. Those some good memories you're putting in my head here, Gelfano.
Yeah,
I
there's
still-
still bits and pieces left.
There are bits and pieces of it left. And by the way, I still love the fact that somebody called you Mick Howard Gelfano.
I think that was my first byline at the Minneapolis Tribune.
That's what
I don't
the
know if
first
it was a
byline.
protest or it was just incompetence. I'm not sure.
So I do have to ask you, when you did order the tuna sandwich, did anybody say "Feh Goya Shanachas"?
Well, probably not, but they're just too polite for that there.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
I think I told you right about the first time I went to the Crossroads.
I don't know.
I was not
Maybe.
even aware of the Crossroads. So it was like, a little more than 20 years ago, I think, is when they opened. And I had my friend Susie, who is she's definitely Jewish, and she said, "Oh, we got to go to the Crossroads." I said, "Fine." She said, "Oh, you'll love it. Everybody's having a great time. They're talking, chattering. The food's great." So we went over there, and sure enough, the parking lot was pretty full. Walked in, and you can picture this: walking into the front door, and you're in like the grocery part of the place, and so there's not much going on there. So we head into the restaurant itself. There's no one talking. Total silence in the restaurant.
Really?
I think, what is this? And there are people in there. And then I look a little more closely, and I realize that there's a dead person lying on the floor.
Oh God! Oh my God!
Yes, that was my
any,
introduction to the Crossroads.
So did anybody tip off why the person died? Do you know why?
I don't know. All I said is that I'll have whatever. I won't have whatever she's had.
Yeah. What? Oh, it was a woman.
Yeah, it was a woman. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, and but it's funny because I was at the Crossroads a few weeks ago, and they got great wait persons there. They've been there for, and most of them have been there a long time.
Yep.
And I don't know why, but I said to the woman who was waiting on the table, "Hey, were you here the day the woman died?" And she said, "Oh yes, I was there." And then we start reminiscing about the dead woman lying on the floor.
Oh God.
She's lying. You had to walk over her to get to your table. Yeah, nobody really quite knew what to do with that.
I suppose not. I guess not. I've been avoiding it now for about a half hour, but I have to bring it up. Why would I want to continue to be a Viking fan? I can't take it anymore. 65 years of misery. I
Yeah.
can't follow that team. I cannot follow that team anymore. That team drove. I love the Vikings. That's why I can't watch them
Sure.
anymore.
Sure. Yeah, I was a huge Vikings fan when I was a kid, but of course that all ended when Joe Cap got beat up in my backyard.
I remember that.
I
Absolutely.
really did. That was my
I know.
introduction. But yeah, well, see, here's the thing. A lot of this is about the media, and I'm the last person to blame the media, being an old newspaper guy.
Sure.
But here's the thing: that the sports writers now, they share one brain. They all, somebody gets a little thought. They all say the same thing, and it doesn't matter if they're journalists, real newspaper journalists, if they're on TV, network guys. They come up with their I would say a lead as a newspaper guy, but in this case, probably it's more like a myth. So what happened was, as the Vikings start to win this year, they come up with this wonderful, wonderful, warm theme that you can embrace, which is that Sam Darnold was always had the talent. He just needed a chance to put it on display. He just
Yeah.
needed a chance. and of course, Sam Darnold is just a classic second string quarterback.
Classic.
I mean, he'll be like all the other second string quarterbacks. He'll be 38. He'll be playing for his ninth team, and he'll still be the second tier quarterback somewhere.
Somebody did bring this up to me, and I don't know if it's true or not, and I didn't bother to check if it was true or not. Those two games back to back, losing to the Lions and then losing to LA, cost him about $100 million.
Well, that's what the announcers grabbed onto this theme about 8 minutes from the end. You had Joe Buck and who else was
Right.
it? Oh, Troy Aikman, yeah.
Troy Aikman, yeah.
And so once they started with that was all they talked about for the final
okay.
8 minutes. And I'll give them credit because the Vikings quit with about 8 minutes left. And they're saying, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't there 8 minutes left? Maybe they shouldn't be running up the middle for 2 yards.
Yeah,
Essentially,
maybe.
that's what they were saying, and they were right about that.
Yep.
But then it just went on and on about all the money he was losing, and basically what they were saying was that he's been discovered. He's been exposed. But the fact of the matter is, it was just as much about the offensive line as it was.
No question.
But you don't talk much about the offensive line because nobody knows their names.
I don't.
No, I don't either.
I'm a huge Viking fan, and I have no interest in knowing who any of these people are until they win. They start winning, good, then get back to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know how many more. I don't think I can do it anymore, Mike. I don't think I can watch the Vikings anymore. They've been, as
Well,
I
I
say,
certainly detected your lack of enthusiasm this year.
oh my
You-
God, I
You
tried.
knew how it was going to end.
I knew how I was going to. They played won 14 games. I mean, they won 14 games and then got smoked in the playoffs.
Well, because finally the teams discovered that you just have like 6 or 7 guys rushing the quarterback. Because what difference does it make if they hand the ball off? They don't
Yeah,
have
you're
anybody who can gain more than 3.5 yards.
Nope, got no running game at all. I mean, I understand. And then they can't get the ball to their best receiver they got on the team, and I don't understand that either. Was it triple coverage, or what was the problem?
Time more than anything.
Yeah, more than anything, it was
But
time,
now you
time
think
situation.
back to the guy who was maligned last year, Cousins, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, there was a reason he never held the ball for more than 3 seconds.
Yeah. Well, yes, good point. Do we see any brightness in our future anywhere?
Well, if you live in Detroit,
Well, that's the other thing. If the Lions win, is it true? Because somebody brought this up on the earlier show, that the Vikings are the one team now that has never won the NFL championship, even before it was a Super Bowl, and then there was a Super Bowl, and all the other teams. I don't know. I can't believe that's true.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up because I have a hard time believing some of those teams ever did win the NFL championship or the Super Bowl when it came along. But
Yeah.
maybe. Andy, I tip of the cap to you for not ever getting involved in watching sports. That was a very smart move, I thought.
Saw the writing on the wall 30 years ago.
30 years ago, you saw the writing on the wall and said, I'm not wasting my time on this garbage.
Yep.
I don't mind if my kids aren't interested in watching the games, but what hurts me deeply is that they're not that interested in gambling.
Oh, well, see, that's not very Jewish of them. I would tell you that.
No, and and this is despite the fact that pretty much every other commercial during the games is a gambling commercial.
It is now. You're right. Was it DraftKings? That's the name of it?
Yeah, DraftKings, and there are others, but I guess that one probably advertises the most.
Well, your mistake was not getting them started with the dreidel like you're supposed to.
Well, we did do some. We had some dreidel action during
did ya?
Hanukkahs, yeah, when the kids were little. Yeah.
Maybe that was your mistake, is doing the dreidel, because the dreidel is not very fun, to be honest.
Well, the thing about the dreidel, for people who don't know, the dreidel is like a huge oversized dice, or die, I guess, if we're singular there,
Yeah.
with a Hebrew letter on it, and I don't know any more than that. But then you spin it, and what comes after that, I don't know.
You know the song. Don't try to pretend.
Oh,
you
I do
don't.
know the
I
song.
Everyone
know
knows
the
the
song.
song.
Everybody knows the song.
Yeah, I think. I think so. I think Adam, what's his name, probably taught us all the song.
Adam, what's his name? Who's Adam? What's his name?
You know, Adam, the Jewish guy with the movie guy.
You mean like Adam of Adam and Eve?
Well,
Yeah,
that's
Adam and Eve.
a totally different story. But yes, no, come on. I mean, he starred in and wrote and directed like 20 movies, and they were all pretty much the same.
Oh, Adam Sandler?
Yeah, Sandler. Yeah, because wasn't he the guy? He had the Santa song, and not
Yep,
the Santa song,
yep.
the Hanukkah song.
The
Yeah, I
Hanukkah
think so.
song.
Yeah.
Did you see the report on him yesterday?
What?
Adam Sandler is now a billionaire.
Well,
I don't doubt it.
If he doesn't deserve it, who does?
But I mean, it's not very good, is it?
Well, no,
I mean, that's the problem with it.
No.
It's not funny.
no, that's true. Yeah, but that's irrelevant.
No, but he's a billionaire now. The guy figured out how to make a lot of. And this, first of all, he's the first Jew I've ever heard of from New Hampshire.
Yeah, that you don't hear about that very often.
You really don't hear. And yes, a nice Jewish boy from New Hampshire. I'm like, what?
I was in Manchester, New Hampshire once.
Oh, you were? Okay. Oh, what were you
It
doing?
was a student convention. I was working at the Minnesota Daily,
Okay.
and so we went out to New Hampshire. It was like I think it was like a student. They were having a big student legislative convention there. You know, where college students from all over, kids who were student chairmen, that sort of thing. They were out there, and Manchester, and I picked up the Manchester newspaper. As soon as I got in there, of course, this is a habit I've always had. I get into a city, I look for the newspaper first, and so we got in there, and there was a banner headline in the Manchester, New Hampshire paper, which said student socialists convene in Manchester. And it just kind of went from there.
That's kind of weird.
Well, the Manchester, what was it? The big Manchester newspaper. They were most famous for having an editorial which was headlined "Kissinger the Kike."
No.
Well,
Yeah, this is like a seemingly normal, everyday newspaper.
maybe they meant it in a positive way.
Yeah, they might have.
First of all, I never understood how shortening the word from keikel to kike made it worse anyway.
A lot of obscenities, so they'll sort of go in that direction.
They really do, yes.
It's
I mean, it just means circle.
Jap.
That's all
you
it
don't
means.
call a Japanese person a Jap because it's derogatory, but
Correct.
Jap is just short for Japan. So
Yeah, no, you're right.
there's no actual innate thing wrong with it.
When I was a little boy, what was I called?
A kraut?
Cat licker,
Oh, yeah.
Cat liquor. I never even heard that.
because of Catholic.
Yeah, I could see not wanting to be associated with licking cats.
That's probably what they
Filthy
call
Catholic.
immigrants in Ohio now.
You think that's probably true?
Well,
I think
first
that's
you
the
lick them
case.
to give them a taste, and
Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
but
Absolutely.
it's like kraut. That's another one. Nothing wrong with sauerkraut.
Yeah.
Sauerkraut, but a kraut. You're
Spaghetti
right.
bender. Bending spaghetti is fun and
Spaghetti,
functional.
yeah.
Who doesn't
Yeah.
like spaghetti?
Exactly.
Very good point, Andy.
Really,
You're making
most
great
slurs have come from a stupid place that really doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, because stupid people are the ones who enunciate them.
Or it's like taco muncher. I'm a taco muncher. Give me a taco, I'll munch it right now.
You got that right in a heartbeat. I think Archie Bunker had the greatest line of all time. He's sitting there watching TV at his house, and his wife comes over, whispers something in his ear, and he looks at his, I guess, the daughter, right? It was his daughter that was married to the other guy. Said he's going to leave the country now that Trump got elected president. He's going to leave America. He's
Yeah.
leaving forever. What's his name again?
Um,
I thought he was really good on the show. I really liked him on the show, but I can't remember his name.
and if you didn't say "can do remember it," I would have remembered it. But of course,
Yeah, that's my
screen.
problem.
yeah,
But I will never forget that they came in the room, they hand him the mail, and he opens a letter from, I guess, his niece, something like that. And he looks at it and he goes, "Good night, Noise. She's marrying a Jew." Do you remember that scene?
oh yeah,
I was like, oh my God. And of course, the other thing that happened on that show before because you never heard that kind of thing before All in the Family.
no,
And the other thing you never heard was until the All in the Family came along. What did you hear in the background?
toilet flushing.
You got it. They had never flushed a toilet on the air before. All in the Family.
Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner, that's exactly. Yeah, Rob Reiner. Andy, would you look it up? I think he said he's leaving America now, isn't he? That Trump got elected.
Well, Rob Reiner's one of those, major zealots.
Oh, is he?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Big time
And then who
sporting-
really picked up on the toilet flush was Married with Children.
Oh God, I loved Married with
What a
Children
great
too.
show.
It was a wonderful. We were talking about that early on the morning show. That it's just, man, stuff is not as funny as it used to be. What happened? Why is stuff not as funny as it used to be? No real answer.
Well, I'm just thinking about it.
Well, I'll give you an example, and I hate to say this because people love him. I think he sold out the XL in upcoming for like 2 or 3 shows. So I mean, that's Nate Bargatze. Why do people think he's funny? I don't get it. I got nothing against him. I don't think he sucks or anything. It's the humor I don't understand.
Well, we maybe alluded to this before, but consider the fact that I think the wealthiest so-called comic in the country now is a guy who's never once told a joke.
And who's that?
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, Kevin Hart's never told a joke in his life, and his commercials are dreadful.
Yeah, his
Oh.
comedy comes from him being short and talking funny.
Yeah.
Well, I
yeah,
do that. I'm not a
You're not a billionaire, Gelfand. What the hell's wrong with
You
you?
don't talk funny enough.
I guess I don't know.
I have never
well,
understood
I
that.
always have as soon as the football game goes to commercial, I've got my index finger in my right hand on the mute button, so that if Kevin Hart appears, I'm able to mute TV before he says a word.
I got to agree with you. He's not funny in the least.
And I find
Why?
his voice to be offensive.
Well, he does it on purpose, too. That's
Right,
the other
of
thing.
course he
His
does.
voice is intentional.
Yeah.
And the other guy I really don't understand because another guy's becoming a multi-millionaire is Snoop Dogg.
No.
I mean, didn't he murder somebody or 2 people? He shot a couple of people, didn't he?
I would assume. I mean,
You're just going to assume that he did. Why anyone thinks he's good at announcing?
yeah.
I think it was a Chrysler hired him first.
Yeah, I think so.
If
Well, that's
to-
the thing. And there's another thing. I watch football games, say, because that's probably the most television I watch. Is probably football games,
yeah,
and a lot of times, they're selling like Buicks or something or a Lexus, right? And it's like every commercial seems to have a hip hop beat in the background. I keep thinking,
Absolutely.
oh my God, I got the wrong channel here. You know, they can't mean this for me.
All right, I got breaking news.
Okay.
Courtesy of Joe, courtesy of Passolt, Bob Euchre has just died.
Oh,
Oh, I love Bob Euchre.
the youth. How old is he?
90.
Yeah,
He was
wow.
90.
Did
Bob
pretty
Euchre.
well.
Bob Euchre came into the KQ morning show a couple of times. He's just the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. Just a
And-
great guy.
And of all the announcers I've known, by far the most obscene.
Is that right?
Oh,
I was not aware of that.
Oh no.
I was not aware of that.
Ask
but-
could tell a story or two about that.
Yeah, Passol's really locked into that kind of thing. He's inside all that stuff. It's kind of weird that even came up today, Andy. His name came up today because I watch the local news in Minneapolis when I'm on the road, because you can get all the channels now on your phone and all that stuff, or on your desktop or whatever you got. And I was thinking I tuned into Channel 9, Fox 9, for the first time in years. I haven't watched them because they were pretty anti-Tommy for a long time, just like they and Channel 11. What was that little pipsqueak guy that just hated my guts? What the hell? I think he worked over at 93X, too. What the hell was his name? God, he just hated my guts, and I never did know why.
You're going to have to narrow this down for me.
You got that right. There's plenty of people involved in that argument. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I can't remember his name.
if you're the most famous person, you're going to take the most hits,
I suppose.
and you
I don't
obviously
know
were
why.
the most famous person, and you know. And
I don't know why. They
sure.
just can't. They can't stand
come
it.
on, now stop.
Oh, Gal fans they're calling it. I think they're trying to hit you up for money. That's what I think. That's got to be a money deal.
This phone has never rung before.
Well, you got to wrap up the show in 4 minutes anyway. So what's the difference?
I don't.
We're fine.
Throwing
That
them
is-
out there.
He throws his coat out the door. What
Never
are you
heard
doing?
again.
What are you doing? But
But it is true. You know, I have almost never heard the phone ring, except now in the last 2 months. Now that CenturyLink is stealing my money, but not providing me with any service.
that's what and so that is true that they are doing that. They're not providing any service. They're just collecting the money.
Collecting the money, and if I ever get it back, you know it won't be with interest. But
Yeah.
the other thing about that is that, you know, aside from the fact that they absolutely know that, you know, the day when they stop providing service to people. But other than that, what they're not saying, oh, we're going to give people their money back. They're not even saying that. They're not even pretending to say that. What they're
Right.
saying is, well, we're going to give everybody credits.
Credit for what?
Well, what that means is they're suggesting that once they can provide service again, if they ever can,
Right.
then you know, they'll credit the money they've stolen against the money that they would have charged us. But half the people, at least, who were subscribing to them when the lights went out will never again they'll never again have a landline, and certainly not with CenturyLink.
I just don't understand what it is with this. And people have always been, it's always been about money, money, money. But I don't think the money grubbing has been any worse. Maybe it's been as bad, but I don't think anything's ever been any worse than it is right now with just the money, 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 money. It's all about money now.
Well,
Everything is.
Look at politics.
Yep.
You have to look at politics.
Yep.
And like, you know, the richest men in the world, you name them, the richest men in the world are now groveling at the feet of Donald Trump.
Yeah, they are. You're absolutely right.
And it works the other way around too, obviously. That's just not a good sign for democracy. We don't need an oligarchy. An oligarchy and democracy definitely cannot. They just can't, you know, be in the same world.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. Well, first of all, I didn't get to vote this year because somebody stole my ballot. Catherine got hers, but I never got mine,
Really?
which I don't really understand how that's legal. But you know, it's just what I'm saying.
How would they steal it?
I don't know. But well, they were mailed to us.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. Probably was
because-
just, you know, probably was just some postal zip code where they needed, like, you know, one guy to do the job of 6 people.
Well, that's a possibility these days too. Now
A lot of that going on, not just in the post office. It's everybody now.
But the good thing for me is whether Trump or Biden won, I didn't have to take the blame for any of it because I didn't get to vote. So that's good,
Yeah, yeah.
don't you think?
That's why I'm not saying.
I got a question for you. Will we ever get to a point where we can do better than Donald Trump and Joe Biden running against each other? I mean, my God, really? That's
Well,
the
technically, they
choice you
run
get?
against each other, but
Well, I suppose not. Yeah. Well, they did for a short time.
Yeah.
it is, yeah. But
For a
yeah, I
short time,
mean,
they did.
not like Harris is a whole lot better.
How about when Joe Biden went on national television and said he would have beaten
Yeah, he said he
her
would have won, basically.
if he had run against her, that he would have beaten her?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why would you say that? Why?
Well, because he's 90 and
Well, that's
losing
true.
it.
he can say whatever he wants.
And he's bitter.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
But I mean, he's probably not wrong. Incumbency gives you a big bonus.
But it's just that one debate that kind of destroyed his whole career, huh?
Well, I mean, I guess it destroyed what was left of it, but
Yeah, right. That's a
career
better
was
way to put
pretty good. I mean, the man was like an elected official for what, about 50 years?
it. Yeah, he was. No question. He found ways to make money with that all over the place, like all those politicians do. Boy, they can find ways to make money, can't they?
Yeah, but it's not very much money compared to, say, Bezos.
Oh, God.
Obviously, the richest man in the world. I don't even want to say his name anymore. And these are the people now who are, they're the people now. It's like, of course, obviously, it's Musk and then you've got Smarmy and who's the other asshole? I can't remember. But
I don't know, they're all assholes.
it's the
to me.
oligarchs now who have been charged with the responsibility of finding ways to make us, the people, pretty normal people, make us get by on less money. They're the ones.
Right.
You think Elon Musk will be taking a hit in his income?
Well, he's only worth
He already went
$490
to court.
billion.
He went to court because someone wanted to make him get less than $54 billion a year as the chairman of Tesla.
54. Well, but it's his company. Can't he decide what he gets paid?
Well, there's a board of directors and all that stuff. So no,
Yeah,
not
but
completely.
All right, I'd like to find a positive to wrap it up on, but there aren't any right now. The world right now is really weird.
So where you are and where we are, it's beautiful weather.
Yeah, true. All right, that is going to do it. Any closing words, Andrew?
No, I don't think so.
All right, Mike.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something positive
Not going to happen.
because I was about to say go to hell, CenturyLink, but yeah, no. It's look, we got good lives, right?
Yeah.
I have a magnificent life. I love my family and my friends and my business and all the rest of it. It's great. It's really sad how most people are just miserable, but they don't want to make an effort to make themselves not be miserable.
Yeah. Well, hey, this is a good note to close on. Ironically, do you know what the surging college drug is right now?
No.
Nitrous oxide.
Oh, God. Doesn't
I
that
don't doubt
kill
it.
you?
It's back. Well, hey,
Nitrous was a thing for a while.
It was, yeah. I remember.
but it's back now, and all I can say is those dental fraternity parties will be just crazy.
I would imagine. Here's my drug of choice right there. Coconut water. Very dangerous. All right, fellas. By the way, we do have a show tomorrow. People were wondering about the weekend. We do have a show tomorrow, but we will not be on Monday because it is Martin Luther King Day. And we will talk to you guys later.
Bye.
See you then.
Thanks. Bye.
Every time I hear the same reminds me how you talking.